Galamera, Galamera. Good morning, good morning. And after a very stormy night, we had absolute chucking downpours, thunder and lightning, very, very frightening, to put it in the words of Queen. This morning, wow, what a lovely morning. It looks like it's cleared the skies. We were in line for stormy weather yesterday, but I didn't say anything because I thought, well, it looks really good at the moment throughout the day. However, it soon changed, and last night it was chucking it down. But anyway, as you can see, nice clear blue skies at the moment, which is really, really lovely. Looking towards Amberlockaby and Kerry, just a few clouds. I did hear from somebody down in Kalamaki this morning. The beach is took quite a pounding last night, and that you've lost a little bit of beach down there, but that happens. It comes and goes. There goes our neighbour off to continue the project. They're building a house at the moment up at top of Bockley, so it looks like they're off to check on if there's any damage to their property from last night with everything going on. But anyway, looking at the weather over towards the back of the house, towards the direction of Laguna and Kalamaki. Again, lovely bright sunshine. My glasses now have darkened up. I can't even see the screen. But anyway, I'm pleased that it is lovely and bright sunshine this morning. Anyway, let's have a quick look at the news. Can I just say thank you for all the comments yesterday? A lot of people really enjoyed yesterday's broadcast, and I was really pleased about that. And the numbers were very high as well on the stats, especially on the views on YouTube. Sorry, the views on Facebook. That's always where we get the most views. Just for people who are watching the show like secondhand on Greece's Bulletin, if you come to where my Facebook page is, it goes out live. It's only really stored up to YouTube to rebroadcast out, and it's really there as more of a record of what I've said, etc., so I can cross-check it and everything else. But for the interaction, you need to come to my Facebook page to get on that. Just thought I'd just let you know. Right, let's just turn the screen round this morning because it's allowing me to do that today. Anyway, someone sent me a love heart. Thank you for that. I really appreciate that. Right, okay, let's have a quick look. I see people turning up already and see what's been going on in the last 24 hours here in lovely Greece. Right, so today is then the 7th of December. Where's time going? It's a Monday, and it is, on my calculations, day 30 of the lockdown, although somebody might say, no, it's day 31, but I think on my calculations, it's day 30 at the moment. What a day doesn't make a difference at the moment. We're all looking forward to the 14th of December when we finally come out of the lockdown. Anyway, just having a quick look at Greek Health's announcements yesterday. Sunday saw 904 new cases of coronavirus in the country, which was down on Saturday, which is a positive, of which only 5 were identified after checks at the country's entry gates, that's i.e. coming through the airport or coming through a port somewhere. Anyway, good thing. No cases here in Zakynthos, and there is 1 new case over there in Corfu. Now, this brings the total number of cases to 115,471 cases since the pandemic started, of which 52% of those cases have been men. Anyway, new deaths, I'm afraid, numbered 101, which is up on Saturday, where we had 98, which brings the total number of deaths since the pandemic started to 3,003. And the average age of those people who passed away were 79 years of age with underlying health conditions as well. ICU patients, people being treated in the ICUs at the moment, that is up on Saturday. It is 600 at the moment, of which 71% of those are men. And today, Greece's Committee of Health experts are expected to convene to decide whether to allow schools to reopen briefly ahead of the Christmas holidays. Schools had been scheduled to reopen on Monday, that's today, with the expiry of of the second lockdown extension, though the decision was postponed over the persistence of high numbers of new coronavirus infections and hospitalizations. The current lockdown at the moment, as I've already said, expires on the 14th of December, depending on if there is an improvement in conditions. Anyway, however, media reports over the weekend suggested that it's unlikely experts will approve the reopening of the schools on this date, recommending instead that they remain closed until after the holidays in January. So there you go. The kids are still going to be spending a bit longer in the house. Just thinking about it, I'm not sure if... I was just thinking if our neighbours might have been taking their kids to school, but no, they wouldn't be. So again, there'll be some announcement, obviously, today as to whether the schools will reopen. Tensions have also been rising among the ranks of the Holy Synod over the Church of Greece's stance towards corona-related restrictions, with several bishops accusing the leadership of being too mild in its response to the continued lockdown on churches. The bishops of Megasenia and Calabratra are among the more vocal proponents of a reopening, accusing the government of policing worship and saying that closed churches are a threat to the faithful. Anyway, their comments are contrary to the position adopted by Archbishop Termenos, who has recently been released from hospital following a bout of having COVID-19, who advocates a cautious reopening of churches and a strict adherence to public health rules. Anyway, we'll keep an eye on that. I do know there was a lot of talk about what's going to happen over Christmas with the churches. A lot of bishops actually have been rather ill. But then again, some of the bishops have not been actually practicing social distancing. One bishop I remember who caused a bit of a storm was the bishop who picked a young boy up and got him to kiss a dead bishop in his coffin with the open casket. We're again not wearing any protection or anything else like that. Making a child get up and kiss a dead person, I don't think is really the dumb thing. I know that's what happens here in Greece, but again, with everything that's going on, you would think that common sense would prevail there. I know there's a lot of people who do want to get back to their churches. I've heard of people in the UK doing secret masses, like something out of the Middle Ages or Elizabethan times, when the Catholics were all hiding and doing masses in little cubby holes so they wouldn't get caught. But yeah, there is a little bit of that going on at the moment as well. Anyway, the Greek police detained individuals who gathered in central Athens' neighbour of Exania to commemorate the 12th anniversary of the fatal shooting of a 15-year-old boy by police. Early Sunday afternoon, some videos were posted showing riot police entering apartment buildings at Exania to flush out would-be protesters. In at least one case, stun grenades were used to check a building. Anyway, clashes with police are on a much smaller scale than what they were in 2008 when this lad was shot. Almost every anniversary of the shooting, there is some form of protest. Anyway, this year, the aim of the police was to maintain public order and to ban gatherings by more than 3 persons, and that was enforced yesterday morning at 5 a.m. And in fact, you weren't allowed to have more than 3 people gathered together in a place in Athens in case they deemed you were going to be a protester. Yeah. And for added security as well in Athens, the metro stations were also closed for 24 hours to just make it difficult for people to get around the city. It's sad times. I do remember that shooting. I was here when that shooting took place. We even had a little bit of a riot down in Zakynthos town. For those who are not quite sure what the story behind it, there were protests about basically the austerity measures in 2008. In Athens, the police decided to clamp down very hard on the austerity riots that were going on at the time and protests. And for some reason, this policeman just decided to shoot a 12-year-old boy for no reason at all. The policeman was brought to justice. He did end up going to jail. A lot of video footage had been released to show what the policeman was saying wasn't exactly the whole truth. At first, the police kind of protected him, but then once the video footage had come out to show the extent of what his involvement was, his position then became unattainable and the police then had to act. And so from that day, that lad actually became a symbol of injustice. And his mother obviously was very upset that it took a while for the police to react. And it also took a while for the police to police their own, shall we say. And that is one of the reasons why that's become such a prominent thing. And especially now with everything going on with lack of freedom of speech at the moment, not having an opinion or frightened to say the wrong thing in case you upset someone. His death now even takes on, I think, a bigger sort of role in what's going on. And obviously the authorities are aware of this. And that was the reason why they wanted to clamp down on it as well. Anyway, this is an interesting story. I've got to be honest, I actually reported this last week, or I think it was the week before last. Now it's now getting more into the Greek mainstream media, whereas before it was only in the alternate media here in Greece. In a statement to Euronews, the office of the Greek Prime Minister, Mr. Mitsotakis, said he did not violate lockdown restrictions during a mountain bike ride last week, and this is because because exercise activities and walks would be allowed within the prefecture one lives in. This has been an ongoing thing at the moment with the lockdown. Euronews said it was sad that neither the police, which imposes €300 fines, nor the citizens who receive them are aware of this lockdown exemption. Anyway, Mitsotakis was pictured with a group of 5 motorcyclists on Sunday, November the 29th. None of them wore masks or respected social distancing rules. Together with his wife, the Prime Minister was on St. Pavani, 45 kilometres from his home. I know it's a big area, Attica, so maybe that's the reason he was allowed that. Anyway, the pictures went viral on social media. However, very few mainstream media outlets posted it, and certainly no TV broadcaster said anything about it. The main left-wing opposition party, Syriza, accused the Prime Minister of breaking the lockdown without protective measures, while at the same time calling on citizens to show an individual responsibility and respect the restrictions. Tsipras also accused Mitsotakis of lack of empathy for citizens who are now not allowed to move away from their homes. In a statement to Euronews, the press office of Mitsotakis said the Prime Minister was entitled to travel within the Athens region. So there you go. Have I got anything else for you? No, nothing else at the moment. Just to remind you that today is the first day that the seasonal shops are allowed to be open. So Bella Casa, I think, is going to do a roaring trade. If you need to buy a Christmas tree and lights, that is the place to go. I'm curious to see if Jumbo might be opening because it's going to be selling seasonal items. So I do have some little jobs to do. Got to go to Lidl today for Jane, because when we went shopping on Friday, we're quite shocked at how there didn't seem to be a lot of stuff in the shop. There was a real shortage of certain items like vegetables and fruit and stuff, which obviously it all seemed to have gone. So hopefully supplies may have been restored again, because we have noticed a few gaps on the supermarket shelves, and I think that is because of what's been going on with lack of vehicles moving across to the island and that. So I'll find out today. Anyway, let's have a look and see who's online at the moment and say good morning and say hello. There's a few people there. Mary Halberg is watching. Nice to see you. Jan Lawrence is watching. Thank you, Jan, for your comments about the show as well. Teresa Ann Huggett is also watching. Thank you, Teresa, you're a good loyal listener, and also you're also saying thank you about the shows. Patrick Curtin is also tuning in. Nice to see you. Morning, Ginge, bloody cold in Essex. Oh, bless you. I'll say one thing. I'm actually here in shorts, believe it or not. In fact, our neighbours quoted yesterday, "Why are you wearing shorts?" And I said, well, I don't know. I just put them on yesterday morning, even though the weather was a bit dull and grey. But anyway, the sun is out again. I think I'll be putting long trousers on to go over to Lidl. Anyway, Julie Ansell is watching as well. Graham Bint down in Australia is watching and tuning in. Good morning. Good to see you, Graham. I hope everything's good down there. Shane Bowen is watching as well. Thank you, Shane, for your comments yesterday. We had a little bit of chat yesterday online. Gallimera Ginge from a very cold Exmoor. Ooh, that just the name Exmoor sounds cold. There you go. All boggy and woo. Yeah, anyway, cheers. We had a good chat yesterday about freedom of expression and freedom to talk. Freedom to have an opinion as well, he's in agreement, and about constructive criticism as well. It's all very well ranting, but as long as it's constructive, that is the key. And thank you for finding what I say constructive. I appreciate that. Anyway, Jan says, morning, Ginge. Andrew the Fridge Watkins is watching from Wales. I don't know what the weather's like in there at the moment. Probably I'll find out further down. Patsy Ann Dobson is watching. Good morning, Ginge, from a grey Margate. Oh, grey Margate. But it's not too cold. Well, that's good. Have a good day. Margate, what a great place. If you ever get to England, go visit Margate. It's on the up. It's on the up. But I think the coronavirus has probably knocked it back down again. Not as bad as 2007, but those people who've been to Margate will know what I mean. Because at the moment... do me a favour, Patsy Ann Dobson. Find out if the Fez bar is still running. Because when I saw the guys who run that, they were talking about they had to take a crisis loan, which they weren't happy about. But they did pay their staff. And they were running a very strict regime in their little micro pub. And he was worried that the money was going to run out and he'd have to close, and it would be such a shame for that to close. So if you're in and around Margate, just see if the Fez bar is still going, all right? Cheers, lovely. Susie Angus is watching as well. Marie Hatzberg is watching as well from Sweden. Oh, hello, Sweden. I think you're our first Swedish listeners or viewers. Thank you for that. That makes me feel good. Anyway, how is it in Sweden at the moment compared to Greece? I'd love to know. Linda Gray is watching from there down in Essex. Linda and Gary, shall I say. Michael Buckley is also watching as well. Christine Wildridge is watching. Hilary Rogers is watching. Aaron Vardy is watching. Nice to have you with us, Aaron, again. Kaz M. Jones is watching. Oh, that's a new name. I don't recognise you. But anyway, thank you for tuning in. Jeanette Fowler is also watching in. Jeanette is over in Sillery. So it's nice having you watching. Jeanette is still working at the moment. She's teaching English to Greek students. So I'm not sure if she's having many classes going on at the moment. Heather Nash is watching. How you doing, Heather? I hope you're getting better, because I know you've had a bit of the old COVID virus and you've been at home. This is a nice one. Aaron Vardy says he did break the lockdown when he posed with the motorcyclists within 2 metres apart wearing no mask. Yeah, he certainly broke the lockdown, but nobody could find him. If you imagine here in Britain, any time that your man Boris is seen without a mask on, they're all on his back. Anytime you see Donald Trump without a mask on, they were on his back, but Donald just didn't care, you know what I mean? But anyway, you've all got to be seen to be playing the game, and it's do as I say, not as I do. It seems to be the mantra for some of these people. Anyway, Patsy Ann Dobson, she said, how's the weather doing over in Zante today? Well, the weather today is sunshine, although we've had storms, Patsy Ann. Last night it was thunder and lightning, very, very frightening, all right? Luke Brandy is also watching as well. Nice to have you tuning in, Luke. Nice to see you here. Heather Nash says, morning from me and Gary. Thank you then, Heather. It's a miserable, foggy Birmingham, she also says as well. Ronnie Woods over there, or Chippy Woods as I used to call him, is watching from Spain. Nice to have you looking in as well, fella. Patrick Curtin is as cold as Catterick's training areas. Oh, yeah, I'll see what he says. Coldest Catterick training areas. But it's never cold in Catterick. It's always sunny, okay? Even when the rain applies, the first rule applies. It's sunny. Oh, yeah, and there's also, if it ain't raining, it ain't training. That was the other phraseology from my days in the military. Morning from a very foggy Harlow in Essex. Lorraine Hall. Lorraine Hall. Now, if I remember rightly, Lorraine lives over in Cyprus. Lorraine is the widow of a good mate of mine, Dave Hall, who passed away. It's not long until the anniversary of Dave's passing, if I remember rightly. But anyway, lovely to have you looking in, Lorraine, and checking up on what's going on. And again, I miss Dave as well, especially at a time like this. He'd be reveling in this at the moment. Philip Elsa is also watching as well. Marina Heidelberg says, snow here in Sweden at the moment, and it slowly starts to melt now. It's 2.5 degrees Celsius, plus, not minus. She says, I wish I was in Zante. Bless you. It'll still be here in the summer. Hopefully you'll get back over. Dave McPherson is watching. Raffridge buddy. Nice to have you looking in as well. Martin Taylor, also another Raffridge buddy. I think this is your first time here. And he says, hello. Anyway, cheers for that. What am I doing today? I've already said what I'm doing today. I'm going to be doing a little bit of emergency shopping because we did seem to be slow on a few bits and bobs. The other day we went shopping. Just to remind you, don't forget my show on Wednesday, okay? Broadcast here from Macardo in Zante. Requests and inspiration. So if you want any requests or that, just pop them down in bit below. Yesterday, I've been working on my special 60th year in music show. Now, this show is morphing. It's changing, all right? I started writing about when I was 10 years, when I was a little boy from being born right the way up to like 1969, writing about, and I've realised 60 years is a long time to get in, and 60 years of music in my lifetime has been such a pinnacle changing of music. So what I've decided to do is I'm going to do 6 shows, really. First show is about basically when I was born and as I grew up, and the music that influenced me from the age of 0 up until the age of 9. And then I'll do one for the 70s. Then I'll do one for the 80s, the 90s, and then the 2000s, and then from 2010 onwards. Because I've got such a potted life experience, again, with my time in the forces, my time on the cruise lines, just, you know, things I've done and music that has influenced me along the way. So I thought, yeah, you know what, I'm going to change it. So the show that will go out on the 13th of December will be all about the 60s and what influenced me in the 60s. And I think you'd be surprised at some of the little anecdotes and little stories with tunes that I've got from that era. And it might even jog a few of you baby boomers out there, because that's the era we are of at my age, the baby boomers. And I'm really looking forward to getting that show together. And the music in it, I think you're going to find it very, very interesting. I've got a couple of other people who've just popped up, again from Australia. Martin Taylor is over there. Hello, Martin. Nice to hear from you in Australia. I'm getting quite a few people from Oz and also New Zealand occasionally as well. Tim Miles is also watching as well. Nice to see you as well. Right, that's it from me. I'm starting to burble now. My tea's getting cold. And I will see you tomorrow. Have a great day and enjoy what you're doing. And I'll catch you later. Ta-ra.